your makeup doesn't look off because of your products. It's because you're applying them wrong. Let's fix that with Scott Barnes' About Face. This book right here has changed my makeup game, and I'm about to change yours when I share some of his game-changing complexion tips. Welcome to the very first episode of From the Masters, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Cheryl. I'm going to take you inside the minds of the makeup legends we've all learned from. We're going to start strong, that's right, with Scott Barnes. Yes, the man behind that J.Lo iconic glow, that's him. Let's dive right in, shall we? First thing I learned, which is shocking. I'm going to try it because I've got a big juicy pimple. You see that right there? Scott Barnes says, quote, if you're dealing with a pimple or a breakout, apply a couple of eye drops. Yes, I said eye drops. Eye drops to the irritated spot. This will reduce the redness a little, which makes the spot easier to cover with makeup. But it's not an acne killer, right? It simply constricts the blood vessels as it would in your eyes. Interesting. Let's try this. I'm going to use these magical drops, Lumify. It's so juicy, like it literally won't go away. I have popped it, though I shouldn't. Okay, so that's a couple. Let's see if this thing works. Oh, it actually, look at, it's less red. That whole circular area here was definitely red. Now it's just the pimple itself. Okay, Scott. I've been actually trying Mary Phillips contour palette now for weeks. An underpainting palette. I have 2 shades. They only offer 3 for now. This is gorgeous packaging, very weighted. The reason why I'm doing this at the same time talking about Scott Barnes is because Scott Barnes, years ago, I think before even Mary Phillips, made it her own modernized version of underpainting. Scott Barnes basically took underpainting, that underpainting technique that I believe he got from Kevyn Aucoin, who had passed away. He's the one that writes that book right there. I just thought it was a perfect time to show you guys this palette. This is in the shade medium. So basically you've got a color corrector here, 2 shades of highlight, a contour color, and a bronzer. So when I started getting my makeup done professionally, which must have been 20 years now, my go-to makeup artist quite often used this company and brand called RCMA. RCMA is by far the most underrated brand that I've ever witnessed. I mean, I still use this foundation. They have the best, hands down, complexion products in the business, and I'm pretty sure any makeup artist, professional makeup artist, will agree. In no way am I saying that Mary copied RCMA by any means. They're just 2 different formulas, meaning this is more for if you want to go more for a thicker, not thicker, I would say more full coverage. Mary's, as you're going to see, is definitely more geared towards somebody who likes to do no makeup makeup. It's light, thin layers, and you can easily mess up and take it off quickly. This is more for TV, important events, nighttime. Scott Barnes and Mary Phillips both believe in underpainting. So let's underpaint. Mary Phillips also came out with brushes. We've got very long stemmed brushes, beautiful brushes. The hair is absolutely, it's super soft. Okay, so as I go in with the medium shade, I'm going to use the color corrector. This is what Mary Phillips does as her step-by-step guide on how to underpaint. And I'm just going to go in where there are dark spots, which is like right around this area and obviously under the eyes. And what's so beautiful about this actual formula is you can see how thin of a layer and how smooth it goes on. Like I find with some color correctors that I've used in the past, they are so thick and pigmented that I definitely couldn't, I would have to use my finger and really tap it in and melt it from like skin contact, skin on skin. Now with Mary's actual formula, there's no need for that. Though obviously it's always good to just blend because you want the underpainting to still be seamless with no harsh lines. And look how much that covered already, just a little bit. Now, the only downside about these brushes is more of the aesthetic side of things. There's a couple of chips, meaning like you'll see here, this is not makeup, this is actual. So I've only washed these brushes once and I have thousands, it looks like, of brushes, and I've never seen like the handle of any of my brushes that I've had, even cheaper ones, do that. So I don't think it's anyone's fault necessarily. I think it's just the product that they use to as a top coat for this maybe needs to change. If you guys have also experienced this, or any of you, let me know in the comments below. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, not at all, because the brush itself is great quality. The only other thing too is that it's so long that when you're in your car, if you're touching yourself up in your car, it's smacking the steering wheel constantly. So this is not necessarily, I would say, something to travel with. It's so long, all of her brushes. Now, if you had to choose between this dual-sided brush and this brush, well, I say just get this. This is a 2-in-1, and this is what she uses mainly for underpainting with her palette, at least. So there's that. Now with Mary's actual formula, there's no need for that, though obviously it's always good to just blend because you want the underpainting to still be seamless with no harsh lines. Look how much that covered already, just a little bit. The only downside about these brushes is more of the aesthetic side of things. There's a couple of chips. You'll see here, this is not makeup, this is actual. So I don't think it's anyone's fault necessarily. I think it's just the product that they use to as a top coat for this maybe needs to change. If you guys have also experienced this, or any of you, let me know in the comments below. This brush, well, I say just get this. This is a 2-in-1, and this is what she uses mainly for underpainting. Dark circles gone. I barely used any. Another thing I want to preface is you do not, though it may feel like it, because I definitely made that mistake. I just put too much on when I first used it because I was like, where's the pigment? I need it thicker. I was expecting more of the RCMA palette. I just trusted the process and I followed her step-by-step tutorial, which you can find even on Sephora's app. I'm going to go to the light. You guys only need one. I don't know. I prefer like a darker color corrector, and then I prefer a lighter. It's a whole thing. Anyway. This is her highlight 1. Mary Phillips makes a little flower. Sorry, it's hard to like talk and do this because I'm still not too familiar with it. Then I'm going to go down the nose. And basically, see, this is the thing. This is a good thing. Like if I messed up right now, like I put a little bit too much there. I just need to do one little swipe and voila, it's gone like magic. Then she uses highlight 1 and 2 just to get into like the hollows, she says, of her face, which I also feel like I have maybe. Maybe I just want to be like her because she's just so cool. And then she just highlights where we want to highlight. Speaking of, let's talk Scott Barnes. So his rule as far as contour and highlight goes, simple, I would say, but powerful. As far as contour goes, he says he recommends to go 1 to 2 shades darker than basically your foundation color. And for your highlight color, go 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation. In my eyes, highlight is not concealer. Highlight is highlight. And highlight is a lot lighter of a consistency and formula than actual concealer. I would like to go back to the light palette. And I'm going to go in with my contour 1, which is definitely a contour shade. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions of like, what's the difference between contour and bronzer? Well, contour is more cool. Bronzer is more sun-kissed, like where the sun hits you. Contour is to sculpt. Bronzer is to add color back to your face. So Mary goes like, she does do a little lift by her, like right at the top of the temple area. And she goes in and goes diagonally up to the top of her temples to her hairline, basically, using that contour 1 shade, just to add that lift effect if you want. It's not necessary. I prefer not to go past the outer corner of my eye, right? So I'm going to leave my finger there because sometimes I can get carried away. And I just go basically in a diagonal, right? Like towards the bottom of the cheekbone, but still on the cheekbone to the tip of my ear, which is right underneath where my temple starts, not on the temple, but underneath it, to create that diagonal line. So notice, if you want to lift, if you're trying to create a lift, you want to think diagonally up. And then you just want to push in the product using her dual-ended brush. Okay, so there's that. Then she goes right underneath the jaw to accentuate the jaw. Now, if you want to minimize the jaw, if you want to make the jaw smaller, you want to go on top, right on top of that jaw line, but I don't. So I just want to go right underneath. It's hard for me to look at the camera when I'm doing this. So you're just going to go along that line right there where there's shadow, right? There's a natural shadow. There is a shadow here for sure. And the rest, I like to create shadow up there so that my head doesn't look so ginormous. Bigger the head, bigger the brain. I'm not being mean to myself. Foundation. So you want to use, if you've done this technique, especially using Mary Phillips Underpainting Palette, you need to use something light or medium, or else you're just not going to see it. Now, as far as underpainting goes for Scott, this is his order. He says concealer, I look crazy right now, concealer and contour first, then foundation on top. And his philosophy is that it's all about building dimension, not flattening. So even if you don't have super defined cheekbones, he says, or jawlines, you can fake it with contrast. He says, think of it like a sculptor chiseling out the details before adding the polish. Foundation then just ties it all together, making it look like your bone structure is naturally that good. Brilliant. Now the foundation I'm going to go in and use is Chanel's. This is their Foundation Healthy Glow Le Beige. Trying out foundation shades. I've been doing it wrong because I've been obviously watching other people on YouTube. They say to match your foundation from your chin down to the neck. No, obviously, because your neck actually is being covered by the shadow of your jaw. So therefore, this is not your true color. What Scott Barnes says to do is to always test out the foundation on your collarbone or chest, because that's the color that is exposed to the sun that needs to be matched. That makes so much more sense. Here, this is one of his big, if I think Mary Phillips is long, I mean, so you can tell that this is a light foundation because it's kind of dripping down, but this is very light. When you're applying it with a brush, he wants you to apply it in circular motion. Say what? So I'm barely touching my face, okay, just so you know. I'm going to hold it from the bottom just so I don't go in with a heavier hand, and I'm like buffing it out and just blending out the underpainting to the foundation, starting in the T-zone area first, and then slowly and circularly blending outwards. Look at how beautiful that is, though. God, I love this foundation. It just smells so good. It has a slight scent to it. I mean, I wouldn't say slight. For those that are sensitive to scent, you might not like this, but the actual coverage is so beautiful. The finish of this foundation is just flawless. In circular motions, like a painter, like Scott Barnes, this makes so much more sense. But I guess too, if you're a beginner, you really have to go light. Like I'm going like this. I'm barely touching my face. I can barely feel, it feels like a little tickle. I mean, just look how beautiful that is. You can still definitely see the highlight. See, this is why I love underpainting, because I will not use concealer now. There's no need for it. I don't need to use brightener. I don't even need to use concealer. Like, I am basically done with my complexion now, other than cream bronzer. This is what Mary Phillips does, is she will actually, and she says you can either stop here and like continue the rest of your makeup process, or you can go back in and either redo everything if you want more of a snatched look, or you can now add bronzer wherever the sun hits naturally. For example, I'm going to use this last shade in the palette, which is Contour 2, but it's a bronzer. It has more of a reddish, see? So now you can see the difference. Contour is for shadow, to shade, to sculpt, Bronzer is to add color back into your skin where the sun naturally hits, right? Which is on top of the cheekbones, for me at least. I definitely prefer that lifted look. And as much as I can cover this head of mine, I will try my best without it looking crazy. Obviously, I'm obsessed, right? Like, I have so many books from so many different makeup gurus. This is why I decided to start a series. I mean, these books, you guys, are so old. I had to buy these books from thrift stores. Like, I had to do some major research to find these books. I love old school gurus because I'm so used to that on Dancing with the Stars, and all those artists have done makeup for 40 plus years. Even like Scott Barnes, he was a painter, so he knows, if anyone knows the color wheel and how colors work together, it's him. Okay, lipstick Siggy and her liners. But before we do that, I just used, and yes, I caved and bought the Louis Vuitton, the talk of the town in the makeup industry, at least, one of the most expensive eyeshadow palettes ever. But I just used this, and though it's not worth the $250, regardless, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a review, because I also got their matte and satin lipsticks. Not all 55, but almost. We are going to talk really quick about one little trick that I learned from reading Scott Barnes's book, as well, Mary Phillips lip liners. All, great, I just mix them up. All 6 of them. There's like 2 more coming. And here are swatches of her lip liners, which I prefer in a lip liner, like my eyebrow pencils, to be pencils. I don't like creamy lip liners because I don't want to basically use it as lipstick. I want to use it to be precise with my lip liner. I find that these are great, but not as dry and pencil like Anastasia at Beverly Hills. Now, mind you, Anastasia, a lot of people may not like the fact that it's drying a little bit, but I have to say it's close. Like, it's a slight difference, honestly. Anastasia, this is sharpened. I've already used like half of this, but Anastasia comes with like double this size of length, right? And then you've got Mary Phillips, right? And I've sharpened maybe once, but it's just so tiny in comparison. Then you've got Victoria Beckham. I feel like these could all 3 be sisters, but Victoria Beckham also is very much a pencil as well. Now, if I had to choose between getting a lip liner, lipstick, brush, and contour palette, well, I would definitely get one of these if you're interested in learning how to contour and learning how to underpaint and just playing around with highlights, color correctors, and contours and bronzers. If you're not, don't waste your money. Don't get this, and just get maybe a couple lip liners and lipsticks. What I learned reading Scott Barnes's technique when it comes to overlining lips but making it look as natural as possible. Fascinating. I love when I learn something new that's so easy to also translate to you guys, because I feel like everyone needs to know this. Okay, so I'm going to use maybe a darker shade so you can see the difference here. This is Mary Phillips lip liner in shade Double Shot. What Scott says to do, instead of just overlining your Cupid's bow, he said the very tip of the Cupid's bow, you've got 2, right? You want to just draw a straight line. What? So I'm not going to go down to the curve. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ignore it. Then I'm going to fill it in. Now do the rest of my liner, though I like to normally do like lipstick or lip balm first, but just because I wanted to show you this technique, I'm also going to do a different technique now that I learned from Erica Taylor. If you're on TikTok, if you know, you know. She's amazing. She says to cover the sides of your mouth so that when you line your lips, you don't line them all the way down, and so that your lips don't frown, which I find very helpful, actually. So hard not to go down to that curve. Smooth it out. So you see how it makes my lips look a lot fuller already? This is a great way to make the illusion without like overdrawing and making it look so obvious that you overdrew your lips, you know? Okay, so now I'm going to go in and use, this is in the shade, this is gorgeous. All of her shades are beautiful. They're super hydrating. I do love how compact it is. I also love how easy it glides on, and it does last pretty long considering what the formula is, right? Okay, so this is this color. It's pretty sheer, especially in comparison to the lip liner, but you know what, guys? 2016 makeup's coming back. You know what that means? This is what we used to do, okay? But it's so beautiful. It's so hydrating. You definitely don't need to like, this is like a lip balm, and a lip peptide treatment and lipstick and tint all in one, which is great. So that's it, guys. I mean, this is really great, exciting new products that are out. I love learning new techniques, and let me know if you guys want me to continue this series. I've got so many different books by different amazing makeup gurus. I hope you learned something. I hope you know if you were thinking about getting Mary Phillips products, I hope you now have a clearer decision on what you want to do. Everything will be linked below. I love you guys. Until next time. Bye.